Hey there, how you guys doing? See, it looks a little dark over here. Let's see if we can get a little more light on the subject. All right, I think that's good. So, I know it's late. Usually I try to get in a little earlier, but I was out trying to accomplish a goal. One of the things I'm trying to do right now is get to walk in a little bit more. Trying to be healthier and trying to get those 10,000 steps in. And so I was moving today and ended up starting off a little later, but thank goodness, I was able to eventually get it done. And so I'm here. And I want to talk tonight about why your child is failing. And let me tell you what my strategy is. So I'm going to try to do lives on Tuesday through Friday in the mornings to encourage moms specifically, but just encouragement for everyone. Encouragement on your day, encouragement through difficult times. And then in the evenings, I'll be coming in to do training specifically for strategies to help children that are struggling in school. And so that's why the subject is, why is your child failing? All right. So listen, there are 4 things I want to talk about tonight. So, school is about to start. For some people, depending on what part of the country you live in, your child is already back in school. And, starting school is always an exciting, happy thing. For most people, it's like a chance to start over, a chance to do better. And so there's usually some hope and some optimism that people kind of walk in when they start the school year. Except for if you have been struggling. And if you have a child who's been struggling, who struggled last year, they may be a little nervous about school and how am I going to do this year? And so I wanted to come on and give you some things to think about. Because if you can figure out why your child is failing, then you can help them to succeed. So, one of the things you may want to think about is distractions. Some children do not do well in large classrooms, in classrooms with lots of other children. So if your child has been in a classroom with 20 or 30 students, it may be too much for them. They may not be able to focus in on what they need to do. They may be very quiet and end up kind of getting lost in the background. Or they may become very verbal or maybe very verbal, boisterous children and are so social that they can't focus in on academics because they're just having so much fun with their friends. So you want to check that out, which means you're going to probably have to go up to the school and come and sit in a class, sit in a couple of classes, to see if there is a difference from class to class, how your child is responding. But distractions could be a huge reason for why they're failing. Number 2, it could be the environment. It could be the way the classes are taught. Sometimes we might think a child is struggling with a subject, and it may not be the child. It may be the way that it's taught. It may be the curriculum that's being used. It may be something even as simple as a teacher could have a very strong accent and the student doesn't really understand what they're saying. So you have to talk to your student and you have to ask them those kinds of questions. Can you understand your teacher? Do you feel like you are being, that she's explaining or he is explaining to you well the things that are going on? Sometimes they're going to be able to tell you and sometimes they're not, which means you have to take a trip to school to see what's going on. So 1, it could be distractions. It could be class sizes. It could be social issues where they're just really social and they love hanging out with people. And instead of focusing in on what's being taught in the class, they're too busy having fun with the students. It could also be distractions like bullying. Do you know that some students who are fairly academically strong will dumb themselves down so that they won't be ostracized, so that they won't be bullied? That's a thing. Especially African American males, it's kind of a protection for them. So your child may have a distraction of not being able to be who they really are because in their environment it's not honored. Knowing the answers, you get booed and you get made fun of. Or it might just be bullying because they're different, or they look different, or they think different, or sometimes just for no reason at all. Sometimes you kind of wonder why. Why is my child being picked on? But if they're being bullied, that is definitely a distraction. And statistics show that students who do not feel safe in school can struggle in their academics. So that's something to consider. Is it a distraction? Is it the learning environment? Is it their attitude? Do they wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to school? Do you have to drag them out of bed? Is going to school like a torture for them? When they come home, are they so glad to get out of the building? If so, you need to find out why. Again, your presence is needed. You need to go up to that school and find out why is your child so hesitant about going? Because you might understand some things if you actually place yourself in the environment where they are. If you actually walk in the halls that they're walking in. And not saying that you don't, but you may need to do that a little bit more just to see, just to get a better feel for why they may have an attitude of, I hate school. I don't really want to go. Listen, reading is like the foundation to all learning. If your student is saying things like, I hate reading, or no, math, I'm not good at that, there's some things you're going to need to do to help them to get better at that. Because those things are foundational to all the rest of learning. And if they don't read well, then that's going to be a struggle in every other subject because every subject requires reading. That might be why they're failing. It could be distractions. It could be the environment. It could be their attitude. It could have a disability. So you may want to have them checked out if you're noticing that they're flipping letters or you spend time working on something, they get it memorized, and then a little while down the road, if they've totally forgot it, there may be something going on and there may not be. But you won't know until you check. So you may want to ask the school for a referral to see if the problem for why your child is failing could be maybe a disability. If you guys are giving comments, I've noticed over the past couple days that sometimes I can see the comments and sometimes I can't. So if you're commenting, please forgive me for not being able to respond to you. So this school year is coming up. It's a new day. It's a chance, if your child has been failing, to begin to turn that around. But the only way you can do that is you have to get focused on finding out why they're failing. It may be more than one thing. It may be several reasons for why those issues, why that challenge is there. And you can figure it out. As I say all the time, parents, we are champions. We are our children's advocate. And we care for them more than anybody else in the whole world other than God. And so we have the opportunity to figure out what's going on. Just because the teacher says whatever they say or the principal says whatever they say, I want you to always remember that you are that child's parent and you have been given the privilege of watching over them. And no, you haven't been to school for 4 years or 6 years, and you might not have a degree in education, but you have a degree in your child. And you know them. You know what's going on with them. And you're willing to take the time to figure it out, to not just throw them into a special needs class because it seems like there's something going on. You're willing to take the time to do the research. You're willing to take the time to maybe let go of some stuff still until you can figure out why your child is failing. Because the truth is, we all get, as parents, one shot at this. We get one shot at parenting. you will look up and the time will have been gone. And in your mind, you will have known that you should have done more. But sometimes we're just stuck and we don't know what to do. We're frustrated. And so we just kind of give up. And so my assignment is to blow the clarion call for parents, to let them know that they have more power than they think they do. That they don't have to be hopeless trying to figure out, what do I do for my child? That there are things that you can do. You don't have to wait on the government. You don't have to wait on the teacher. You don't have to wait on the principal. You don't have to wait on anybody. You can save. You can help your child so that they do not fail. Because here's the deal. Failing in school in our society is a very difficult strike to overcome. It's not impossible, because there are some who have done it. But it will create obstacles for your child that will be difficult for them to overcome. There are children right now in the county where I live who are not getting diplomas as they walk across the stage, but they are receiving certificates of completion, which say that they have been in school for 12 years, or they've been in high school for 4 years. It will not allow them to join the military. It will not help them like a diploma would to get a job. It just says they've been in school. That is a setup. They were not prepared for whatever reason. And now they have been pushed out of the system. And now what do? They can't get a job, and not at least one where they need a diploma. And so they're only going to be able to get but so far. So helping them to get an education is critical. It is foundational to how far they will be able to reach their destiny. Now, there are those few that will be able to overcome the fact that they don't have a high school diploma. But it's probably like 90% to maybe 10% that actually can succeed in life without that diploma. So if your child is failing academically, it is imperative that you figure out what's going on, that you ask God to show you, as that child's parent, as their advocate, as their champion, to show you how to help them to win. And so my assignment, as I was saying earlier, is to empower parents and to give them the tools that they need so that their child can succeed. And so this year, 2017, 2018, you can rewrite it. It can be different from the years that have gone by in the past. This can be a year when your child succeeds. There are strategies that within 18 months, your child's academic life can be turned around. I have a checklist that I'm going to be giving out on Friday. It's going to be free, and I'm going to be sharing it with you as I come on in the evenings between 9:30, about 9:30, 9:45. I'm going to be sharing these checklists and other resources, because you guys are going to win this year with your child. Your child is not going to fail. You're not going to feel frustrated, because you're going to begin to have access to resources and strategies to make sure your child can win. This is going to be a successful school year. My name is Anita Gibson. I am a coach. I'm a speaker, educational strategist, and up-and-coming author of a book called Starfinder. It's a book about helping every child find out their greatness, find out their gifts, find out the things they do well. Because unfortunately, when a child struggles, we spend a lot of time on what they don't do well. But I want to teach you how to begin to focus on what they do well. And you'll be amazed at how they will begin to soar. And that book is almost done. We've been working on it and we've had to go back and forth with revisions and those kind of things. It's coming out very, very soon. My final proof is ready to go. And so I'm very hopeful that we're going to launch probably sometime in September. But that checklist, I'm going to have that for you on Friday. And so hopefully I will connect with you. You will connect with me. I'll see you guys soon so that you can get access to that. But from now until school begins, I'm going to be sharing principles, strategies, and ideas to make sure that you help your child win. So you guys have a great evening. I love you, and I'm excited about what you're going to be able to share this year about the success your child is having in school. All right, guys, I'm heading out. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.